Hello, my voice. Hi, Erica. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another study stream. But this time it's unique. I have the Pomodoro timer, and I have the nice Christmas jazz music going on in the background. I have writing. Wow, sorry, this is not my normal writing, but like we have writing involved. I'm sharing my tablet right now because one of my classmates shared notes, and it's honestly so much to go through. And yeah, I could read it and whatnot, but I think actual note taking and writing and like talking it out is gonna be like my only saving grace. Unfortunately, sharing the tablet can kind of get a little wonky, so I do have a backup plan in case this hacking dies, but you know. Let me say my hellos. Let's talk about what we'll be talking about as hopefully our last study stream, and then life will be good, right? Yeah, I keep saying life will be good, and life has been a medium, you know, like it's not good, it's not bad, we're managing. But after tomorrow's final at like 7 or 8 p.m, I am going to be free, and I am super excited because then I can relax and then I can see. Minus work though, of course, but after that, I don't even have to think anymore. And I can game and I can finish Pokemon. I can't wait. Anyway, but let me say my hellos. Hi Sunny, hi. Hello Tips. By rare writing stream, do you mean we get to see your ultra fast typing skills? No, you get to see my painfully slow writing skills. Not that my writing is atrocious or really slow, but I'm so used to typing up notes now that for whatever reason this program isn't really friendly to like writing notes. In my last program, like we got PowerPoint, so it was a lot of like, okay, you see this, now circle this, you know, kind of thing. and you take notes through that. But this cohort, oh my gosh, this program has been a lot of, hey, let's copy and paste our notes or whatever notes they say in lecture or from PowerPoints and put them cumulative and then download it, and then you could put them in like Notability, or what is the other program, like GoodNotes or something like that. I don't know. I haven't really been writing for the entire year that I've been in the program because there really hasn't been a lot of time, but writing is like one of the ways I feel like I learn best. It's just kind of been avoiding it because it's already so hard making the guides, you know, and then it's just like but someone had provided this to us, so that's actually super exciting. So pause cross that this is really good. I did scan through it, it looks really good, but it's so bulky. That's why I'm kind of like, alright Cubs, we're in it for the long run. I just took like a nap, right? So I really thought like all this renewed energy I have should go into studying, so but yeah, so my very slow typing or writing skills, and the worst part is that I have to write so close. Because if I write really far away, like let's say this, my writing starts looking like this, and I'm just like, So if I keep zooming in, I honestly apologize. I want to make sure that my writing's like legible, but gosh darn it. If you see me give up halfway and my writing starts looking like this, just forgive me, okay? Forgive me. Anyway, hi disaster. Hi, welcome. I see your low study emote. Noted. Sunny and Bear, thank you for the contribution to the karaoke. Thank you. And Sunny, also thank you for the 1,000. Hello? Hold on, I'm gonna gamble 99% because I am a gamer. Okay, I'm never gambling. Nah, not gambling for the rest of the stream, okay? Okay. Hi Baz, hi. Happy finals week. Oh, thank you, Baz. Baz, I was just talking about you yesterday. I feel like every time you're here, it's like, Tip, what are you talking about? Lamarck had stopped by and I forgot what we were talking about, but something about planning and that saying that you're like a really big planner. And I'm like, I'm a big planner too. I'm not one of those like go with the flow kind of people. I have to make sure there's like a backup plan to the backup plan to the backup plan. And then he's like, you and Baz can take 2 hours of plan. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Anytime, hit me up. Well, hi. I hope you've been doing super well. Hi, Anthony. Hi. Welcome. By the way, this time in voice, thank you so much for joining the Discord. I appreciate you. Thank you. Another 8-hour stream? Well, technically I don't really have a limit for today's stream, but I was really hoping maybe I can end by 9 or something. So maybe like a 2.5-hour stream roughly, because I do want to play some Fortnite in the Discord, you know? I do want some gaming time. But again, this is about 33 pages? I don't know. I would stream it tomorrow too, or I would do like a little study stream before work, or I guess before work works, but like after work too. But I just don't think I'm really gonna have that time, you know. So hopefully I'll get to what I can. Hopefully, really, I'm hoping that I get to like page 12 to 15. It might be a little difficult. We'll try, and then the rest I'll kind of like skim through tomorrow on my like slow time during work, you know. Hopefully 12 hours. Gosh, no, Cubs. I appreciate your company for the 8 to 12 hours that I've been streaming, but I need to sleep. If 12 hours, what's 12 hours from now? I'm not doing the math right now. Wait, I am doing the math. 12 hours from now is 6 a.m. No, wait, no, we're not doing that. I'm not gonna stream till then. I don't hate myself that much. I would never ever in my life pull a all-nighter or something. I'm just not that kind of person. I don't think I even have the mental capacity. Like I have the endurance to do a lot of things. Like I can do very long study streams, but it was telling me to study until like 6 a.m. Like, you're a maniac. Sorry if I called anyone out. Disaster says, you know, I don't think I've ever written on PDFs of all undergrad. Honestly, I wouldn't have either, but I thought when I was going to grad school, I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's like raving, get a tablet, get an iPad. And I'm not really like a big like Apple consumer, like brand wise, so I'm like, oh okay, you know, I think the writing tablet's really neat, and it has been really nice, but I haven't really found much use of it for this program specifically. Hopefully in the next semesters it's gonna be a little bit nicer, you know. Hi Lucky, hi, thank you for the contribution, by the way. Thank you. Life has been so mid-man. Okay Baz, we planned a vacation so life can be what do you call it, much nicer, okay? We'll do it. We'll plan a nice trip from Bearcat Mountain to Yeehaw Land, and we'll find a mid-ground. Let's go to like Colorado or something. I don't know. I've heard good things about that place. I heard people do like skiing and whatnot. I don't really ski or snowboard or skate, but I heard it's really pretty in the mountains, and I haven't seen mountains other than a Bearcat Mountain. So yeah. Yeah. Sunny says it's okay. Right now your handwriting's pretty neat, but I'm expecting you to transition. No! I'm expecting you to transition / develop the typical doctor's handwriting, where all the circles and scribbles are just cursive style. Oh, you bet. my cursive can definitely like use some work. Oh goodness, let me just erase this because, gosh darn it. I haven't written cursive in a very long time. Like I'll use it to sign my name, but like I don't know how to even do T's. T is my first letter. But yeah, I don't know. I promise I won't get the doctor's handwriting. I'll try to write as neat as I can for both our sakes. Hi Zach, hi. I have to write so close. Me too. Yeah. No wait, are you just mocking me? Hold on. Are you just mocking me? Oh wait, that's too big, heck. I have to write so close, and even then it's still stinky, you know? I know, Cook, hi. Howdy, just background lurking while doing D&D prep. Let's go! I heard, oh my goodness, I feel like Wednesdays are the days. Another classmate of mine also has D&D on Wednesday, so I'm like, oh my goodness. But no problem, thank you for the lurk. Thank you. Enjoy your D&D when you get to it, you know? Here's to a bussing life. I know, I hope to be bussing soon. Hi, Ashiv, by the way, hi. This isn't Fortnite. It isn't, but it will be soon, so I'm super excited, you know? Sling is so much fun. Or skiing. Skiing is so much fun. I want to try it, but I'm scared. I'm afraid of pain. Wait, football? Wait, huh? Huh? Hi football, hi, welcome. Thank you for the support for 1 year, 6 days, and wait, what do you mean how? I just missed football this time, or football is a professional lurker. Either way, I appreciate you stopping by and doing a cute little spin. For first time chatter, welcome to the Cup Club chat. But yeah, you never mock me. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. Your face is in Fortnite? Wait, SG's getting what? Surgery? I missed something. Anyway, now that I caught up with chat, let's talk about our itinerary for today. So hopefully today is the last study guide. Our last study stream, so I can become a gamer again. Hopefully at the earliest I become a gamer on Friday. If not, I'm gonna take a nice well-deserved rest until about Monday, and hopefully I'll see you come then. Right now we're studying for our last one, which is about musculoskeletal disorders, how we could treat it, how we can assess it, some really wacky ones like APAN. So we can do that. Popo says, yeah, I followed way too many VTubers last year. Same. I respect it. My follow list is a little ridiculous on Twitch. I feel so bad because normally when I'm ending stream, I'm like, oh, I wonder who I'm gonna raid. And then my cubs are like, hey, do you need a suggestion? I'm like, no, I have maybe like 100 right now live. It's just really that bad, but I love VTubers, not being biased, by the way. No bias. Anyway, so the purpose and the whole thing of why we're going to be studying this is because I have a final tomorrow at 7 p.m. So let's get to it. So, like I said, we're doing something new with the how do you say it, the tablet. So don't mind me if I I'm like bending over like to like write something. I follow like 3K people. Not to make this a competition, but how do you check? How do you check? Isn't there like a streamer stats or whatever? You can see how much people are hold on. How many people I'm following? Flex. No, I'm not gonna flex. I'm just curious because I also followed a lot of people. Let's see. It's kind of a shame that they don't tell you, huh? No, I don't know how to check. I only see like the Twitch tracker thing, and that only tells me about my stinky stats, which I don't want to look at right now. Either way, when I come back with the number, I'll come back and let you know before. I promise. Alright, so like I said, let's get into it. So the study guide doesn't really have an order, unfortunately. We're gonna throw concepts like it's nobody's business here, okay? Gotta go. I must do these social no problem. You flex the social reps. You go have fun socializing while I'm here quiet. But thank you for stopping by. Have a good one. Bye. So the weird thing with this one, unfortunately, with sharing my tablet is that a lot of it's gonna be multitasking with my my computer. So one moment. So before I even get into this concept, this is my recap, hold on. Let's talk about Phelan's test. Phelan's test is the first concept here, and it's saying that Phelan's test is going to test for carpal tunnel. So what does this even look like? What are we talking about, Tipa? So Phelan's test is in reference to this. So I can't really write on it. Maybe I can pretend to write on it. maybe not. So the top one is going to be what Phelan's test is. So the back of your hand, opposite of its palms, are going to be touching each other. You're going to put your arms horizontal, and basically what should happen is that if you're pushing them together in this way and you feel tingles, you may be positive for carpal tunnel syndrome. While the opposite, the number 2, the image on the bottom, so we'll just do this. This is what reverse Phelan's test is. So instead of the back of your hand, I should put the timer. Hold on. Wow. Sorry, Pomodoro, you know? Anyway, so instead of the back of your hands touching like this, we're going to be doing the palms of your hands. So you kind of go into like a prayer position. You add a little bit of compression by pushing both sides together and keeping the arms horizontal. If you do this and you start feeling tingling, then guess what? You're positive for carpal tunnel syndrome, which again is a very popular disorder I feel like us gamers have, because it's just the median nerve getting compressed by the actual carpal tunnel, which is a structure we have at the wrist. So that's like a fun way you could tell if you have it or not, gamers. So let me go here. So please indicate the specific structure the following test would incriminate. Reverse Phelan's. Oh, I have it too small. Hold on. So we just talked about reverse Phelan's. That's going to be the one in the prayer position, and that's going to be testing again for carpal tunnel syndrome. So as you saw, the tests are really similar. Your sense are tingling? Oh no. It is a very uncomfortable position, but it is, you may be indicative of that carpal tunnel. I'm so sorry, my fellow cub. I'm not really sure how to treat it at the moment. I'm only a year into bearcat school, so stay healthy and safe until then, okay? Okay. So as we saw, reverse Phelan's for CTS, which again we just talked about, and that's going to be for our carpal tunnel syndrome. Reverse is going to be the same as the Phelan's, except the palms are placed together. Yes. So I had joked, and I'm bringing the picture back, that if you don't necessarily want to get religious, how do you say it? You could say that Phelan's test sounds like failing, And so it's like, oh no, the back of my hands are together and it's pointing down. And it's like, oh no, going down means like it's a failing grade, right? Well, let's reverse it and bring our grade up. Do you believe I told my classmates this? So yeah, that's one way to kind of indicate the difference between the regular phalans, which again is going to be on top, and the reverse phalans. So what happens is that you're supposed to hold this for about 60 seconds, and then that's when we can indicate, hey, is this good or not? The test is positive if the patient experiences numbness or tingling through the median nerve distribution of the hand within 45 seconds. So what does this mean? So this is going to be a hand, I promise. Hand. And what it means by let me write this down. Median nerve distribution is that your median nerve. Oh my goodness, they're always so big. Hold on. Your median nerve is going to basically innervate this whole section of your hand. Anything that's highlighted in green or colored in green. This is gonna be your median nerve. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. Let me distinguish the fingers, because I definitely did not do that. Thumb. There you go, right? Does that make sense? No, but you see, if I erase it, this is the only downside with notability. Or I think it's like this, right? Yeah, hold on. Oh my goodness. Gracious, great balls of fire! Ah! So I don't take notes! Ever! Oh my gosh, I feel my neck going. Yeah, there you go. We cannot get any better than this right now. Pinky. There you go. That little smiley face to make it better. So this is going to be your median nerve distribution. So when you're doing this test, you should be feeling tingling around that side, okay? So let's see. Carpal tunnel. So carpal tunnel syndrome, the median nerve is most commonly compressed distally at the carpal tunnel as it passes through fiber osseous canal at the anterior aspect of the wrist. So as it passes through the anterior osseous canal at the anterior aspect of the wrist and then into the hand. CTS or carpal tunnel syndrome can be ruled out with a negative valence test. So again, it's positive if you have that tingling sensation, and negative if, well, you don't. So what's going to happen here is that you can also rule it out with a positive Tinel sign. So during our 8-hour stream, we talked about Tinel sign as basically if you can identify where the carpal tunnel is. So this is your hand again. Right? And if you were to tingle like right about here, this is where your carpal tunnel is, right? So you would just basically use your fingers to basically tap. So it's like a movement, like tap tap tap, up and down. And while you're doing this up and down motion for about 30 seconds, if you start experiencing tingling, then you're positive for carpal tunnel. So let's erase this. Let me delete whole. No. Okay. Let's see. So you need a negative valence test and a negative Tinel sign at the carpal tunnel. Isolated thenar eminence paresthesia. So let's actually highlight this a little bit too. An absence of nocturnal syndromes or muscle weakness or atrophy in the palm of the hand. So I like, in my other course, we would highlight any like clinical points in blue. They would always be in a blue box. So negative valence test. Let me make this a little bit bigger, sorry. Negative valence test. Negative Tinel sign. We'll we'll get the isolated dinar. Eminence paresthesia. So paresthesia, by the way, that's gonna be like the pins and needles sensation. So pins and needles. Just a really fancy word of saying that. And then the absence of nocturnal syndrome. So for whatever reason, carpal tunnel, some people may have to wear a brace when they're sleeping at night because the way that their hand might be moving aggravates, it aggravates the symptoms and they wake up with pain. And for whatever reason, carpal tunnel is just really aggressive at night. Imagine spilling rice. Oh. Imagine spilling rice all over your bedroom floor, Sag. I'm so sorry. At least if you have like a vacuum. I mean, it's sad that you wasted food, but it can be an easy pickup. Vacuum, broom, anything. Anyway. So there'd also be an absence of nocturnal syndromes or weakness or atrophy. Atrophy, by the way, is basically like wasting away. So that can be a sign of it. It's talking about APAM deformity. APAM. Let's see, one moment. APAM deformity. And that's what we kind of briefly talked about in the beginning of the stream. So, APAM deformity is going to be the atrophy of the dinar eminence. So, again, just a really fancy way of saying thumb. It's going to be seen early. Atrophy of the flexor pronator group muscles in the forearm. We'll talk about APAM. And happy hi, welcome. Instead of carpal tunnel, can I get a tunnel of carp? All the fishermen will be jealous. Yeah, give me one moment. Also, give me another moment. Let me close my door. My beautiful, wonderful baby cat. I have like a little door hinge, so she won't like keep opening my door, or she'll open it slightly. But for whatever reason, her powerful tiny head just. Bottle too. After seeing my hand do that, it hurts my hand. I'm sorry. Hi, Miss Dasha. Hi. Hold on one moment. Let me hydrate and my Yeah, no, it should hurt. Basically, the hand kind of just gets stuck in that position. Doesn't that suck? Thank you for the hydrate, by the way. Thank you. So, does it talk about it a little bit more? No. So the reason why we have APAM, oh my gosh, it's just because I saw a lot of posts from Big Ham today, so I have her on the mind. Oh no, Vatch, hi. Thank you so very much for the contribution, and hi, welcome, Bearcat hugs, yeah. Welcome. No more Bearcat hugs, only APAM. So what happens with the APAN is that as you can see kind of from the really like crunchy description, is that they cannot move their thumb away from the rest of their hand, so it's permanently adducted forever. So, oh Monte, hi, thank you for the contribution as well. Welcome. I just don't know why his fingers are slightly flexed too, you know? Because it's definitely adduction. I just don't know why it's incorporating like a distal finger flexion. Well, hopefully we'll figure that out later, okay? I can't bend my thumb without bending my index finger. Is that similar? Oh, no. Ape? Hand. It's only, the idea that you cannot take your thumb away from the side. So you see how it's permanently like right here? That person cannot abduct. They cannot bring it over. They cannot spread their fingers. Ape. Oh no, sorry, I did not mean to hit my mic. How does an ape look? I don't know. Ape, ham smash. Wait, is it still ham? Yeah. Hams. Oh no, my hand. Sure. Cute. Alright, sorry. Apes don't have tails? Oh no, they don't have tails? God. I've never seen an ape in my life. Apparently. It looks like a Mankey Pokemon? I only know Mankey as like this like really angry fluff ball, right? With like the punching gloves. I don't really know how else a Mankey looks like. Anyway, let me get rid of it. I'm so sorry. I'll keep 8 p.m. Smash though. I didn't realize we only have like 12 seconds left. 12 minutes. So let's get to the rest of it, okay? So another thing we have to determine is please indicate the specific structure the following test would incriminate. And now we're going to be moving on and talking about the pinch grip. And the pinch grip is actually a really straightforward exam, Cubs. Let me get an image for that one. Whose idea was it that Tip uses her tablet? Now she's never going to be on track? Hey. I can make ideas come to life. You know, I'm going to pop up MS Paint anyway, so it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. I don't know if this was a good indicator. This is frontman's test, so this is not pinch grip. So I'm trying to find like a really decent image. It's a little blurry, so I actually apologize for that. So let's actually pull this up. So pinch grip is basically what it sounds like. It pinches, you know. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. I'm gonna go pinch your cheeks. Oh, I'm gonna pinch your cheeks. Yeah, like it's like that kind of pinching. And so what happens is that the patient's gonna pinch your index and thumb together, as you see here. And a positive test is gonna be the inability to pinch tip to tip. So tip to tip is that image on the top left, and they might do the bottom one. So they have a more flatter grip, which it sounds very minor. It's like, okay, people can pinch differently. That doesn't matter, right? But that can actually indicate a pathology, which isn't that interesting? So it can indicate a pathology of the anterior interosseous nerve, which is going to be a branch of the median nerve, which I actually really wanted to look up something about that really quick. I just wanted to see, because this nerve is really interesting. I don't remember if it tests for, if it's motor related. Like, it sounds motor, but is it also sensory? Hold on. Nope. This resource is basically saying it's motor only, so we're just gonna go with that. Motor. Sorry, that was my note earlier when I was writing. It's basically saying motor, sensory, or both. So let's put this hand away. Yeah. Right. So possible entrapment of the anterior interosseous between the two heads of the pronator teres. So the pronator teres is gonna be the... Oh my goodness, I have to grab more pictures. No. Pronator teres. Hi, hearts. Hi. Hi, Tipanya. Brain full yet? Get me out of this heckle. Get me out of here. I want out. I'm so ready to be free tomorrow. I don't want to study anymore, but I have 3 more years of it, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Disaster says sounds like the type of detail that would be used in a mystery. Honestly, it's actually a really cool distinction because it's one of those things where it's like, obviously, because the anterior interosseous nerve is a branch of the median nerve, you need to make they have very similar symptoms, especially when it comes to the motor aspect of it. But if the patient's only experiencing like a nerve related thing and they still have sensation, but they lost, like they have like muscle weakness or motor weakness, then it's actually the branch of the median nerve. It's the anterior interosseous nerve. But if the patient had a nerve injury and it's in that medial nerve distribution, which was the area we were talking about earlier, especially with the hand right here on the left, and they're not able to feel hot or cold or your touch sensation. And by the way, the touch thing is really interesting, because how they test for touch is basically like, hey, close your eyes. Alright, did you feel anything? And if you say no, but they touch you, then it's like, okay, your sensation is, well, out of whack. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so possible entrapment can be between the two heads of the pronator teres. So this is the pronator teres. So this is a muscle that's coming off from the front of your arm. So basically, if you had your palm up, what happened is that it's coming off the medial condyle, medial epicondyle of the humerus, and then as you see, it comes all the way down, and this muscle is going to help with pronating. So we talked about supination a lot with the palms up, right? So with the palms up, bring that palm down, and that's pronation. And pronation is going to be what this muscle helps off with. And you can actually, while you pronate, feel that muscle contract if you use your finger to palpate or, like, you know, hover over that area. So, ooh, you got muscles in ya. Huh? Friend says I had a pinch ulnar nerve from gaming a while ago. Doctor gave me a flossing exercise. I thought it was funny, because I'm supposed to floss due to being a gamer. Oh no, you missed the last study stream. Literally, my last study stream is like, can I stretch your nerves? And basically, it goes into the concept of flossing and gliding and elongating the nerves. I'm already done with that test. I don't want to talk about that test. But how do you say it? I'm glad that was working for you. Honestly, ulnar. I feel so bad because ulnar glides when they're doing it, like when a therapist does it for you. It's not the most comfortable. I mean, any of the glides are not comfortable, but I feel like the ulnar gliding the ulnar nerve is probably the weirdest one, because you have to keep like your hand like right by your head, and then it's just like, hey, are you feeling it? And it's like, yeah, I'm feeling it. But no, you're good, you're good. I felt like a baby going to my doctor over a numb pinky finger. No, you shouldn't. No. That's, again, your body telling. I mean, it's not pain, but it's the idea that your body's telling you that there's something wrong. If you have a numb something like that, it's important to go to your doctor. But thankfully, it's not to downplay the situation. Thank goodness it was something relatively minor. Thank goodness it was like an entrapment of, you know, of the ulnar nerve getting stuck somewhere rather than like actual nerve injury or damage, you know? So, yeah. Sorry, my timer keeps going off, so I'm like, Anyway, so possible entrapments for that pronator teres, so we talked about that. The anterior interosseous nerve is going to provide, and we just talked about this, motor innervation to the flexor pollicis longus. So flexor pollicis longus, pollicis longus. Again, this is just going to stand for flex thumb long muscle. That's all it stands for, so no need to worry about that. And the medial part of the FDP. So FDP is going to be in reference to our flexor digitorum profundus. So, what's it that I don't know if it's here. I guess you wouldn't really see it in this image, but profundus means that it's like a deeper muscle, because this image is showing you a lot of the superficial muscles of the anterior forearm. But if you were to politely put these layers aside and go deeper, you would find the flexor digitorum profundus. The purpose of this one is that it's gonna flex the digits, and profundus is just saying that it's deep because we also have a flexor digitorum superficialis. So sometimes this can involve the index or the middle finger and also the pronator quadratus, so we can add that in here as well. It also sends sensory fibers. Whoa, 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 whoa. So it's the anterior interossei sensory and motor? Because look, it says sensory fibers. Man, I have to go look this up. Man, I think it's somewhere here. One moment. Okay, in my notes it says motor only. Okay. So we'll write that down and be dramatic, okay? Just wrong one. Motor only. Alright. Oh no, I'm starting my fingers. Oh my goodness. Alright. Blah 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 blah. So please indicate the specific structures the following test would incriminate. For McMurray's compression. Okay. I'm so sorry, I'm so nasally again, cuz I promise I'm not getting sick. I think when I woke up I was just like, you know, in a stuffy condition. I mean, I do want to talk about McMurray's test. But I also have like a minute left, so let's see what we can say in a minute. I think I really want to do like maybe 45-minute timers. I'm not really a big fan of 25, you know? Oh my goodness, two girls at the same time? Hello, hi Disco, hi Durham, hi, welcome, 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 welcome. You just caught me right before a break. Tip, Fortnite sucks? Pam's like, agreed. Why? What happened, SG? What happened? Are your games sucking? I'm sorry. They can play soon, I promise. I just, have to, well, study. So McMurray's compression is something we may have talked about in the study stream. So basically what happens is that you're moving the patient's foot into like flexion, then extension, and then it might be easier to do this. So what you can do is when you flex it and you put it into extension, you can either internally rotate it or you can externally rotate. The test is that you have to do both, so it doesn't really matter either way, you know? But the reason why this is I get it. Oh my goodness. Here's headpads. Hold on. Let me explain this concept, and then I guess we could go on a break so I could go put my nose or something so I could stop sounding like a nerd. But it's just quests? I'm sorry. Or the quest? I can help you with quests too, okay? Ta-da! Alright, just big. Oh no! My hands! the not correct hands. Alright, so Bam, you want cursed headpads? You got cursed headpads, okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, scoobity doobity doo. So nice to see you. Oh, I lost it. It's back. It's back. Ta-da! And those are your cursed headpads. Huh? Thank you for the redeem. I will politely take this 5-minute break so I can not sound nasally, and I'll come back with McMurray's, and then we could be full swing, and then I'll change the timer. Maybe I can change it now? Yeah, we'll do 45-minute breaks. Yeah, that looks better. I politely be right back. I'm gonna put a raffle too, so one moment. Trevor. Hi. Welcome. Congrats on the gambling cops? Question mark. Anyway, I am back. I have set the Pomodoro to 45. I've also lowered the alarm music because goodness gracious, am I right? This is a wonderful day, might as well be honest. It's okay, I tried gambling earlier after Sunny gave me 1,000 and it just did not work, so boo! Boo! Alright, let me see. I had 5,000? I know, but you can get that 5,000 back. The same way you got it? Well, this is the same way you could get it back. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Gamble all? The gambling bot just is not for us Cubs, okay? I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Anyway, let's get back into it, okay? I could buy everyone in the stream a Big Mac large set. Aw, I could feed you all. In this cow economy? Cow economy, you can do that? I appreciate. Oh, Fair, stop showing off, Fair. Stop showing. It's so easy. Yeah, you know it's so easy. Just do it, forehead. Just one. You know, honestly, how do you say it? Going back to the Big Mac. Did I tell you, Cubs? It was only like a few years ago where I had my first Big Mac. I was like, oh, I see why people like this. But even if I still go to McDonald's, I still don't actively go out and get one. Just like, can I get a chicken nugget? Can I get a chicken nugget? Anyway, so I took my little 5-minute break, which really mostly consisted of me staring at my own cat peas in the bathtub. Where she's like, mother, water comes out of here. And I'm like, child, water comes out the sink too. And I turned on the sink for her to drink water from, but she didn't want it. She wanted bath water. So cultured, you know? And so I turned it on and she got scared. And then she just looked at me and sat at the edge of like the tub, and I just stared at her, and we just had to stare off for like 30 seconds. I'm like, please, I need to enjoy my 5-minute break. But by the time I came back, it just said I had a minute left, so I was like, no! So I just quickly scrolled through Twitter. Now that my freedom is gone, I will get back to my 45 minutes of studying now. Let's sigh. Let's get into it. So last time I had left, we were just talking about McMurray's compression. So McMurray's compression is another like special test that we can do. And as you see from these poorly drawn images, basically we have the patient laying down and we have one of their legs up. That's not anatomy, I'm so sorry. You have one of their legs up, and pretty much you as the person treating them, you turn their leg in or out for external or internal rotation. And then with that internal and external rotation, then you straighten out their leg into knee extension, and then you bring it back into flexion. Depending on where you turn it, you test like a different kind of meniscus. So I think it's like, yeah, hold on. For the medial, you will test with external rotation, and for the lateral, you would test internal rotation. That's basically what this whole book is going to be saying. So let's, oh, it's even right here. Okay, fine. So yes, you gotta do, it's a knee flexion, yeah. You do have to flex it technically too, but really it's all about that. Knee flexion to, oh, that's not a good, to 90 degrees, and then this, and then we'll just do that there. Sure. Alright. So what about Frontman's test? So Frontman's test, I don't know if I saved the image for this one. This one's really interesting. So similar to the pinch test that we were talking about earlier, Frontman's is like baby, okay? So you give like your patient a piece of paper and you're like, hey, I'm going to take it away from you. I'm going to pull it away. And what they should have as a normal is that they should have this flat grip. But if they're pinching and they're pinching with the bottom half, then that's actually going to be an indicator of something wrong. So let's actually talk about this concept and have this image right here, okay? So, for frontmans, this is more of a sign than a test, and it may present as a complaint from the patient who reports inability to pinch between their finger and thumb without flexion occurring at the DIP. So, you know, you'll do your little like, okay, hand sign. But what happens is that their DIP, because your finger, as if you look at it, you see how there's like a line here and a line here. Yeah, that's these are definitely hands. I'm so sorry. Let me draw the yep. Hand. Anyway, you ever notice that you have like these like how do you say it? Segments? Yeah. So these are just your joints that you have, and the joints that you have is called DIP and PIP. So IP in general just stands for like interphalange. Oh, my thing. Like interphalange or phalangeo, depends on, I guess, your textbook. And the D is either going to be for distal or the P is going to be for proximal, and this is in reference to your body. Anything distal is going to be further away from you, so that's why the furthest end near the tip of your finger is going to be distal, and then proximal is right there. Anyway. So for whatever reason, their distal segment is flexing, so they can't just do a normal okay hand sign. Their the very end of it flexes with them, and so that's going to be a positive sign, of frontman sign. So let's highlight that here. Inability to pinch between the index and thumb without flexion occurring at the DIP. And this is going to normally result from weakness in the AP, which is also going to be called as the adductor pollicis. So adductor pollicis just means that, you know how we could like spread our fingers? Now bring your fingers in. That's adduction, and then there's a specific muscle that helps with adduction of the thumb itself. It's also seen as a short, oh wait, sorry, this is where I will highlight in blue. So weakness in the AP. Also in the flexor pollicis brevis, that definitely was not an arrow. And indicate ulnar nerve entrapment at the elbow or at the wrist. So that's really interesting. So again, how we can do the test with us, how do you call it? How we could do the test, especially with our image right here, is that the patient will grab a piece of paper using a lateral pinch grip with thumb and index finger. So lateral here, they're just grabbing the piece of paper as we see in the thing. Okay, I'm not drawing anymore. And so you as a therapist will attempt to pull the piece of paper out of the patient's hand, and a positive test is going to occur if the IP of the thumb flexes. So if you see again that bottom half, because the adductor pollicis is weak, and that can also be just an indicator of ulnar nerve paralysis, which is really, really interesting. Thomas test is a fun, wacky test. Basically, you have the patient lay prone on their tummy, and you just squeeze their calves. That's it. And if they're not able to plantar flex, which means to bring their toes down when you do those calf squeezes, because when you squeeze it, you're gonna like contract the muscle. What happens is that that's actually an indication of Achilles tendon rupture. So Achilles tendon again is that here's your foot. Let's say this is the back of the foot. Teehee. This is like your ankle. So your Achilles tendon is like here because of the muscle attachment. And then remember, we always said that tendon is muscle to bone. Yeah, that's an abbreviation. And so what happens is that you might have a rupture here. And again, we can indicate that through the Thomas test and doing those calf squeezes. And again, if you're not able to plantar flex, again, right here, absence of plantar flexion indicates a complete rupture of the Achilles tendon. Okay, so that's a summary of that whole paragraph. So let's move on to oscillation. So whenever we're doing some kind of mobilization or whatnot, there's like different grades we could talk about. So we could put this in like weird severity. So you could do grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and then grade 4. So the really cool thing is that grade 1 and 2 are very similar. and we can actually talk about that right down here. So let's actually talk about it. I'm so sorry. So when you're doing mobilizations, you do these things called oscillations. You might be familiar with oscillations, being like, ooh, or maybe that's not even it. I'm so sorry. But basically what happens is that there's certain grades that we can perform, and if I talk about the grades, maybe it will kind of go more hand in hand. So for grade 1, pretty much when we're pushing on the patient or mobilizing a patient, we're going to do it at the beginning of range. So we're not going all the way through, we're not going toward our end range, we're not doing anything like that. We're just going to like tiny baby peak. So it's very small amplitude, and the purpose of this might be because, you know, maybe the patient is very overly cautious, but if we could get even that slight little bit of mobility, the idea behind both grade 1 and 2, grade 2 being the beginning of range to middle of range with a larger amplitude, is that this is supposed to be more of a psychological thing. It's supposed to help decrease pain and other neurophysiological effects, in a sense that I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but like basically if someone is taking care of you, you feel better because, hey, they may have placed their hand on you or something like that. Like it's not like a placebo effect. It's like a really weird concept. It's gonna out me out a little bit. Touch does heal? Yeah. Because some people are like, oh, you know, I've gone to my doctors and my doctors have never like placed their hands on me, and obviously I'm not seeing anything like, oh, in an appropriate manner or anything like that. No, barely. But you know, like we've never had like any physical contact. They didn't even really look at the situation. They like used their eyes and they were like, oh, that's it. But they're like, but when you go to like something more like occupational or physical therapy, they're like, oh, you know, you placed your hands on me, you had like this really deep talk, you didn't spend like 2 seconds getting to know me, we spent an hour doing like an evaluation, and you know, I feel much better, so thank you so much. That's what the neurophysiological effects are kind of talking about. My doctor didn't touch my butt, so I got sicker. Let me tell you, my doctor touched my butt one time and that was not pleasant. I forgot what it was. I think I had to get like an injection or something. I was not feeling well, and they're like, oh yeah, this would be the best way. And I'm like, on my butt. So maybe it wasn't the doctor, it was the nurse, but still, I do not recommend getting injections through the butt. That did not feel pleasant. Disaster says, yeah, I remember hearing something like that in my health psych class. Yeah, honestly, it's the healing touch. So with grade 3, instead of beginning the middle range now, we're going to be to the middle to the end range with a larger amplitude for grade 3. And then at grade 4, we're going to do end range with a small amplitude. So basically, it's just the idea of like, how far into their normal range of motion are we going? Like, how do you explain that? Like, oh yeah, you could put your... No, let's not use that. I was like, oh, your thumb. Bicep curl. Yay, 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 my favorite. So when we're trying to help do mobilizations for a bicep curl, we'll put you like in a slight position. Like we want to have you do a full bicep curl, because if we're having you do a full bicep curl and we're doing like a mobilization from that, then that would be more like grade 3, grade 4, but we'd be putting you in like partial motion, like you're barely doing anything in grade 1 and 2. So if we talked about grade 1 and 2 being more, again, decreased pain and neurophysiological effects, then grade 3 and 4 is actually going to be mechanical effects. So what's going to happen is that by us pushing to their limit, I guess you can say, we're going to help increase their range of motion, and we're going to work through any restrictions or adhesions. So pretty much what happens is that adhesions and restrictions limit motion. Adhesions are interesting because they only limit motion in one direction, while restrictions in general are kind of like, well, a little more well-rounded. It's like it could be restricted anywhere, basically. Apparently, 3 and 4 can also produce neurophysiological effects, but these are like notes from God knows how long, you know? Anyway, let's talk about identifying the best 5 examination findings to confirm a capsular pattern of the restriction at the glenoid humeral joint. So we talked about capsular pattern in the past, but I personally don't think I have like the best understanding of it still. So let me see. Sorry, one moment. I think it's just like the pattern of when something gets stuck. Yeah, a limitation of pain and movement in a specific joint ratio, which normally is present with arthritis or following prolonged immobilization. So this is important because, let's see. Why is it important? Capsular patterns are also very important in the shoulder because unlike most other joints where motion is first limited by muscles becoming taut, it's actually the joint capsule that can limit shoulder motion in certain directions before the muscle becomes fully stretched. Okay. Ta-da! Maybe we can write that. Because the glenohumeral, again, it's referring to a ball and socket with the shoulder joint. Shoulder joint, yeah. So let's see. Other joints where motion is first limited by muscles becoming taut is shoulder equals the joint capsule that can limit movement, sorry, in a certain direction. Before, oh my gosh. Becomes fully oh my gosh. So we'll make that like a cute little note right here. Make this here, make this here. I like literally like dumb things. So the shoulder, like we said, it's a joint capsule that can limit movement. Most others are going to be limited by muscle. So da-da! So that's the importance of capsular pattern because we're going to see what kind of restriction or movement pattern, well yeah, it's going to be restricted in the glenohumeral or the shoulder specifically. So we can use different examination steps. We talked about the 18 steps, which again, not a fan of memorizing the 18 steps, but we can do step number 8, and that's going to be checking their active range of motion. And so when you do check for active range of motion in a patient, you're going to check for their external rotation, their abduction, so bringing the arm away, and their internal rotation as well. One moment. We can also check with passive range of motion, classical. We can check their quantity. So for their quantity, we're going to be checking to see, hey, is the movement normal at the joint? Is it hypomobile? So is it below normal mobility? Is it hypermobile? Can this bad boy move like nobody's business? Or is it normal? But what you're going to see when you have someone who has, again, when you want to confirm a capsular pattern at the GH or glenohumeral joint, what you're going to see is that you're going to see a decreased passive classic range of motion with the same limitations of, how do you say it? External range, and external rotation, abduction, and internal rotation. Again, this is just going to be the capsular pattern of how you're going to find the least to most like motion being restricted. And hi, Rebel. Hi. Welcome. Oh no, I'm late for class. Rebel, it's late in general. No, but you're good. I said yesterday that it might be my last study stream, and then today I didn't even think I was gonna really even study, but I ended up taking like a 30 to 40-minute nap when I got home. So I'm like, oh, all right, I got the energy. Where am I gonna use this? Time to be productive. Yay. Welcome. Thankfully, we're not taking attendance or anything here, so it's a-okay. So, actually, hold on one moment. Let me highlight. No. So we have active range of motion. We have classical. We have passive range of motion classical. Passive range of motion accessory. Passive range accessory. Hi, Sugar. Hi. Welcome. Sugar, I can tell you in voice. Thank you for joining the Discord, by the way. Thank you. Hi. Hope both of you have been super well. So we talked about active range of motion. We talked about passive range of motion classical with the quantity. Now let's talk about quality. So quality, what we want to see is that is there a normal end field, a normal or abnormal feeling of the capsule when we do move it toward this end range. And what you're going to see with people with the GH joint issues or trying to detect that there's a capsular pattern present, you're going to see that it's going to be tight. And a lot of these things are just going to be decreased. So it's going to be in all directions. So if it's in all directions, this is not... I'm so sorry. I heard like a really loud noise. I got spooked. So this is not a adhesion. This is going to be, I forget what we had just called it. Do we just call it regular restriction? Sorry, forget the A. So now let's talk about passive range of motion accessory. So the difference between classical and accessory, I'm so sorry if I didn't mention this, that's so rude. Classical motion, again, is going to be what we normally associate movement with. So, hey, flex your elbow, extend your elbow, do a little bit of elevation of the shoulders. So shrug your shoulders, depress your shoulders. Yeah, that's gonna be what we call classical movement, and we can associate both the quality and quantity of it. For accessory, that's when we get into the joints and do those like really certain mobilizations, and then we're gonna check, hey, are they hypo or hypermobile? So again, with the quantity right here, they're gonna have decreased PA to inferior to AP. So what's the hell mean? So this is referring to the direction of where we're going to be applying our force. So P stands for posterior and A stands for anterior. So this is saying if we're pushing from posterior and we're pushing from the posterior side and we're pushing anteriorly, that's going to be what's limited first. Our second is that if we do an inferior glide or anything like that, that's going to be in the middle. And then our most, limited is going to be AP. So when we're pushing from the front to the back, you're gonna have a lot of trouble with that, and that's a wrap. Anyway, sorry. And the last thing again is gonna be our quality for accessory, and that's gonna be just a tight capsular end field again in all directions. So there's no adhesion, it's just like a general restriction, as we were mentioning. So what is step 8 according to the 18 steps extremity check, blah 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 blah? What is the purpose of this step? So again, 18 steps is just a concept that I hate, but a really cool way of how I memorize 18 steps is that active range of motion. So active range of motion is going to be step number 8, and how I memorize this is that if you like turn the 8 like this, it looks like, you know, those like in the cartoons where someone's like running really fast. Sorry, I don't know why there's a dog. And you know, it looks like, you know, they're running really fast, and when you run, that's obviously an active range of motion, right? No, now it just looks like a hecker. Anyway, look, running, okay? Wait, before I get in trouble. I've never drew any there you go. It's doing the Sonic run? It is! So, it's in blue, not Sonic blue, but the respect is there. So that's going to be active range of motion. And when we're doing active range of motion, or when we have our patient move in a certain direction, especially for the shoulder, we're just like, hey, buddy, old pal of mine. Oh goodness, the timer changed. We're going to assess the quality. So again, we're going to check, hey, is it normal or abnormal, like end field? Is it there like a tight capsular feel? Is it a bony block? Like what's going on? We definitely want to check if there's an indication of some strength, and we'll see about that once we do MMT would be like the next step to check that out. We could see it that if maybe certain motions might indicate their pain. This kind of goes hand in hand to the painful arc. So sometimes, hopefully not, but sometimes when you're raising your arm up, you might have some pain when you go up, and this is known as like the painful arch, especially for the glenohumeral joint. That can happen about 60 to 120 degrees of shoulder flexion. So if you're like, hey, when I start T-posing and I bring my arm up overhead, it starts hurting around the 60 to 100 mark, then you're just like a classic case of, again, painful arcs, and then they're going to see how they can fix that for you. How do you actually fix it? I have no idea. I'm only a year in bearcat school. So then this is just other like examples of like, hey, what would you do to determine this, and determine the tissue reactivity, and determine like, hey, is there an end field present, is there pain, and can the patient do this? So for adhesions of posterior tibial femoral joint, the adhesion, how we're going to detect that is just doing passive range of motion accessory, and we talked about accessory being like within the joint. So we can do that and be like, hey, Asian? Sorry. Weakness for extensor carpi radialis, we can use MLT. I always thought we could do MMTs, but the reason why we want to do weakness is something we had talked about yesterday, where if you have like weakness, and again, the case was like this this beautiful, oh no, my pen! Beautiful lady named Brenda. She was a like 64-year-old lady who's like a gardener, and she trains her dogs and whatever, and she started feeling pain or whatever, and they did like an MLT or muscle length testing, and they're like, oh yeah, she has like weak shoulder extensors. The reason why when we did an MLT, it shows tightness in the shoulder extensors. Because of that tightness there, we actually had to address the flexors, and that's just again a concept that's still like, oh, so weird to me. But the reason why you might have tightness is because, or limited mobility with that, is because maybe your flexors are tight, so you work out your flexors so they're not as tight, and that allows the extenders to move more, which is just again still like a foreign concept. I don't know why this would be the best tissue reactivity for the Achilles tendon. Oh my goodness. If you had someone approach you with right Achilles tendinosis, which is going to be a degeneration of the Achilles tendon, I don't know why you would do MLT. I'm still like very like confused, but I'm just going to take that at face value and be like, okay. I read through some of the study guides, so you have to forgive me. So this is like saying, explain the statement, the fracture is the cause of a fall rather than the result. So it sounds, so let me say that slower and not as frantic. Anyway, the fracture is the cause of a fall rather than the result. So this is kind of like, I don't get it. When I fall all the time, it's like, yeah. Hopefully you don't fall all the time. But if you do fall, you know, normally people have injuries. Oh, I fell on my wrist and I dislocated my wrist. I dislocated one of my arm bones. I dislocated my shoulders. Oh, I fell on my butt and I broke my hip. Da 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 da. Oh my goodness, you know, that happened because of a result. Well, what happens is that the statement's only going to be more true for like lower extremities when we're talking more about the femoral neck or like the tuberosity. So recall that your hip looks like that, right? Your hip does not look like that. But if it did, you have like this area right here, and we talked about the hip being, again, like this ball and socket joint. So this is a hip. This is your femur. This is how hips sound, alright? I just wish I don't. Look, listen, for as much as I look at anatomy, I haven't actually studied drawing anatomy. But, we talked about this being, again, a ball and socket joint. But no, ouch. We're not saying that dislocated or anything. But what happens is that, again, this is saying that's referencing the fracture of the femoral neck or tuberosities. What's going to happen is that we talked about a lot of concave convex roll when we're talking about biomechanics, but what happens is that if you turn a certain way, you're going to end up with like a rotational force. So if you turn, you might turn this way, or you might turn that way, and that's going to turn the head and neck. But what's going to happen here is that in this scenario that they give you like an old woman. So let's talk about Brenda again. So what's happening is that before we actually get into that example, it's saying that the rotational force that we were just talking about right here can actually be enough to break it. A rotational force is applied to the femur as the patient turns, and this is going to cause the femur to fracture. The return of Brenda. Honestly. Anyway, so Brenda, right? Okay, sorry. So Brenda, let's say she's standing by her sink and she's like, you know what? I have this dish. I'm gonna I don't want to get up in this position. I'm gonna stay still and I'm gonna rotate myself. So she's standing by her sink, turns to put something into the drawer and then falls. So again, we just said that, how do you call it? We had just said that the fracture is gonna be the cause. What do you mean flat? Hello there. Hello. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to a cup club. Welcome, welcome. I don't have this boob shadow for a reason. I don't have it for. This is. Look, I'm also 3D. What? Oh wait, that didn't help. Okay. Welcome. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Oh my goodness. Anyway, tears in my eyes. Okay. So because she rotated and whatnot, that actually caused the fall. So why did that even happen? I turn all the time and I don't fall. Anyway, yeah. 10 million points? I'm sorry in advance. Remember this for later? Wait, why do I have to memorize it for later? What? I'll just copy and paste the number. 10, yeah. I'm in a pinch, Tipanya will defend its honor. I will defend my honor. You'll see. You don't have to copy it? I don't know well, what does that mean? Explain. You can't just like leave vague information there, my dude. I assume it's Fortnite related, but it's fine. Anyway, let me see. So yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, dude, I turn all the time like this. Why did this happen to Brenda and not me? So basically what happened is that with older women, they have this thing called osteoporosis, and osteoporosis is not cute. But I can try to show you a picture, but in layman's terms, basically, your bones become porous. So let's see. Is there a good image? Oh, this is actually really good. Hold on. Brittle bone. Yeah, basically. So what's gonna happen here is, let's assume this is Brenda's hip. Wow. Wow. No, but basically, you see the normal bone matrix. It's pretty dense, right? But what happens is that with osteoporosis, it just becomes, well, again, porous. It becomes weak. It becomes brittle, and it can't really absorb much force there. Like, I think if you look at it, it'll start cracking, basically, right? So basically with that, we just have to keep that in mind, especially with older females, because they're more prone to get excuse me. Why am I dying? Hold on. They're more likely to get osteoporosis. Destroying bone matrix like that? Scandalous. I know. I'm so sorry. It's what's inside that counts, honestly, anyway. So it says, remember that osteoporosis can cause bones to become weak and brittle, decreasing the amount of force required to cause a fracture. Assuming our bones are strong and healthy, you and I would not have any problems turning while our foot is planted on the ground. However, that simple action in someone with osteoporosis may cause the femur to fracture either at the neck or the trochanters. The patients will then fall down since the lower extremity can no longer support the weight of their body on that fracture. Excuse me. Trigger says yes. What is inside is what counts. Blood. Oh, blood gang, rise up. Anyway, so joint play, we don't have to read through this whole hecking paragraph, but just understand that we have component motions, which we were talking about, which was basically the idea of like, oh hey, we're moving the joint because of the concave convex rule. Well, joint play kind of just, I'd rephrase that. Oh, I'm sorry. Human anatomy blood gang, rise up. Anyway, we talked about component motions being that. Well, joint play motions are not going to follow that. Why? Because a lot of the motions we do with the concave convex rule and component motions are voluntary control, while joint play motion here is not voluntary. It is something that we do. We actually can kind of do a maneuver. We can do something called distraction. So you ever had someone, or have you seen someone like, oh, let me pull on your leg and help you feel better? Yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand. That distraction or that pulling of like the leg or arm in like a certain direction, that's going to be an example of joint play. And the reason why we have joint play motions is that it's going to be used to detect the joint's ability to relieve and absorb extrinsic forces. So forces, especially like a ground reaction force. Think about how much force is being absorbed when we do a heel strike in our gait cycle. When we take a step, you know, we have that heel contact, or we should, unless we have a normal gait, and then how our body is going to absorb that extrinsic force. To help improve some of that, again, that's why we do distractions or we do tilts, but that's something we could talk about a little bit later, but just have a general idea of like, oh, distraction just pulling the joint apart. So, which of the following are variables of manipulation treatment? So, we can do multiple things about our treatments and how we can make it vary. It could be the force, so the amount of power that we're putting into it, the duration, how long we're doing it, the type of manipulation, are we doing a distraction or tilt, the temperature, our hands do take a part in it, amplitude, how hard you're doing it, like how we're talking about isolations, and the velocity, how fast you're doing this. So this kind of goes into more clinical stuff, and it's basically like, what is the name for a condition in which infections destroy bones? What is the name for the condition in which infection destroys bone, dehydrates the intervertebral disc, and destroys the anterior vertebral body when it results in deformity? And that's going to be osteomyelitis. So that's also going to be known as bone infection. And as bone infection it says, bone infection is basically when bacteria that travels through your bloodstream can get to your bone and actually cause like quite a number, as you can tell. I don't think this is so common though. I don't think we hear much about osteomyelitis, right? Or maybe we do. Holy heck, let's see. Yeah, osteomyelitis is pretty rare, so there's nothing to worry about, but it is a possibility, unfortunately. Womp womp. Alright, so which best states describes the arthrokinematics of mid-cervical rotation? So unfortunately, this is where I stopped paying attention at work. This is where I got to, so let's talk about it. So this is your head, right? Well, not your head. Now it's your head. Sorry, wait, why did I give you an X? I'm so used to drawing the monkey. This is you. This is you as a cub. And so what's gonna happen is that if we're doing rotation, we're obviously either rotating to our left or rotating to our right, correct? And so what's gonna happen is that we have facets. So again, like our vertebrae really do not look like this, but if they did. And then this is our disc right here, our jelly-filled donut. And then here. Spine. So let's say this was our cervical spine, correct? What's gonna happen is that when we rotate, it's so interesting. Let me see if I can actually do it on this. Why did the leg come out again? Hold on. So with the spine, what's gonna happen is that when we do a mid-cervical rotation, let's see, ipsilateral. So let's say we do a right rotation. So as we rotate, our facet joints are gonna be doing some wacky motion, and it's gonna sound really silly. But as you see, what's gonna happen is that there's a down glide, and then there's gonna be an up glide. So when you rotate to the right, you're gonna have the same side, or also known as, oops, oh my goodness, ipsilateral downslide. And then for, how do you call it? We just talked about the left side. That's gonna be contralateral. Contralateral upslide. So we'll just do that here and do that here. This is just again, unfortunately, like another like biomechanics concept of when we rotate. You can kind of imagine it even when you rotate your own head. So the same time when I rotate to my right, I feel like a slight pressure on the right, and I could feel like my other side opening up. Now if I rotate to my left, I feel like a little bit of pressure, and then I can feel like an opening or gapping on my right. It's not gonna be a dramatic feel, it's not gonna be like every time, but that's just the general idea of cervical rotation. Is a compression on the left, gapping on the right? Oh, okay. Upside and downside is gonna be for rotational movement, and then let's see. Gapping and compression are terms for movement of flexion and extension only. So hold on. So we'll write that. Flexion and extension. It's gonna be the gapping and the compress. While we just talked about the up and down glide as the hold on. Up and down glide as flexion extension. Oh, rotation. I'm so sorry. My brain really did just stop there. That's so sad. Alright. Flexion extension. Rotation. Okay. Alright. Your patient presents with right cervical disc herniation at C5 and C6. What nerve root is most likely involved? This says C6. I don't believe them. Which sounds absolutely awful. How I learned it in another class, it was saying that if it's C5 and C6, then it's literally it should be the C5 nerve going through, you know? So I'm just really confused. So that's just something I'm gonna probably mark in red and then like ask my classmates like, hey, what the heck? Or something I can review during my own time, of course. Which of the following is the best description of normal lumbar arthrokinematics for rotational motion? So, cervical rotation and lumbar rotation are not the same. So maybe I should also keep this for cervical. Because as you see here, we're talking about lumbar arthrokinematics, and it's saying gapping and compression on the right when we're doing rotation. So let's see if we can explain this concept before my timer goes out. So for rotational forces, what we need to understand is that this is a cub, and this is their back, right? And their back has like the 5 vertebrae, right? Somehow I feel like my drawing skills gets worse with the tablet, so I apologize for all the poorly poor man stick doodles, you know. I'll try harder. I'll try harder. I promise. It doesn't help that we can become cat girls. Hecka. Anyway, not the point. The point is that we're talking about rotational to the left, so we're talking about lumbar, arthro, rotation, left. So if we're rotating to the left, it's saying that there's gapping on the left. So let's go here. Let's draw a really poor vertebra. We got our disc right here. This is gonna be the back. Hi, Faust. Hi. Welcome. Got luck on the study stream, Miss Nia. Thank you, Mr. Faust. I appreciate ya. I do. I cannot wait to fail this exam and still pass the course tomorrow. That's not me with a negative attitude. I just feel like for this class in particular, it doesn't matter how much I study. And I was talking to my tutor about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, Mr. Tutor, I'm really worried. This is a cumulative exam. And he said, don't worry, I passed with an A in the exam, the final exam. I'm like, huh? How did you do that? He's like, yeah, all my other classes, exams for that class, I got like a C, but then I got like an A in the final. So you're gonna do great, okay? And I'm like, okay. Hey, if it works, it works. A degree is a degree, baby. It does. Man, but can I tell you how mad I am that for the test yesterday, as this timer is gonna go off, I ended up getting a B, and I was so excited, right? But that, because it was like a lower B and not a higher B, because I needed a high B, it actually dropped my grade by 1%. So I'm sitting at a nice 79%, and I'm like, I don't know if I should email my professor and be like that bearcat and be like, you know, I'm only 1% off, and it would really help my GPA. It would be really nice if you could round it up to a B. But I don't want her to think poorly of me. She's one of those teachers who are like really stern and like strict. I kind of almost want to ask my classmates, like, hey, do you think I should ask? Because it's so unfortunate. It's like a high 79%, you know? So I'm just like, oh, do you think she'll be nice? Do you think she'll look over the grades? But anyway, let's finish this, and then I can take like a little baby break, and then we'll do our next 45, and then after that I'll be, what do you call it, I'll be wrapping up, because I do want to play Fortnite. I do want to have like a good rest and Alright, so what happens is that here's our spine. Hoping for the raise. Me too. Like, I hope she would understand. Oh, I didn't mean to cut it. Oh my goodness gracious. Face. So if this is our spine and we're rotating to the left, right? This is gonna be weird. I have to draw 3D. What the heck? Alright, but let's do this anyway. So if we're rotating to the left, 45-minute Pomodoros? Well, at least there's a little break in there. There is. Technically, Pomodoros for 45 minutes should be, what do you call it? Like 15-minute breaks? I'm not gonna take a 15-minute break. It's okay. I'll take a 5-minute break and be like, okay. But 45 minutes went by kind of fast. So I'm kind of like sweating. So it's saying that there's gonna be gapping at left, and then saying that it's going to compress at the right. Apparently you can also say upslide. But does that would that knowledge like from the cervical come back up to haunt us? Let's see. So up glide, left, down glide, right. So we were saying that when we do right rotation, a down glide is gonna happen. Okay, so it is the same. Thankfully. So to reiterate the information for like both myself and Cubs listening. So what's happening is that with any rotation, you're gonna have an upslide or a gapping on the side that you're rotating. So let's write that down again for good measure. So gapping will occur on the opposite side. Excuse me. And then compression. And this can also be known as like the up glide. And then for down glide, compression can be, it's the same side. Right? So there's gapping on the left. Never mind, it's not the same, it's not the same, it's not the same. Teehee, it's opposite day. Yay. I'm gonna cry, hold on. So it's gapping on the left, so it upglides, but didn't it upglide on the right side too? No. Alright, little baby, no. Cervical root is opposite of lumbar. A gapping or upglide at same side for lumbar. I don't know why I wrote tilted, I'm so sorry. That's something I'll just have to keep in mind as like my Cornell notes. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. So we'll kind of do that. This question looks like a baby question. Your patient presents with HNP, herniated nucleopulposus. So remember our jelly-filled donut that we were talking about? So our jelly-filled donut can actually like break and start leaking out. And then, sorry, let me make it more defined. And it could break like right there, right? So what's gonna happen here, and what we have to keep in mind, is that this is gonna be present in this example at L3 and L4, and it's saying what nerve root is most likely involved. And it's saying it's gonna be the L4, as the herniated nucleus pulposus is the same direction, or it's the same as this herniation, which, I mean, yeah, I suppose. I still don't know why it's L4. I guess we just go with the bottom one either time. Alright, we'll talk about this patient who is a retired baker. Wow. We could possibly talk about some we can talk about disorders. Okay, this will all be really fun stuff. These are more clinical examples that are, you know, applicable applicable. And being like, oh, maybe I've seen someone like this, or oh goodness, thankfully that was not me, you know. And yeah, I'll take a quick 5-minute break. I'll set up a raffle and I'll be right back. So if you also want to use this time class, make sure to stand up, stretch, hydrate, and love your life as you go through our last 45-minute Pomodoro, okay? But I will politely be right back. Leave. finishing? Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah, heck yeah. I'm sorry, Sunny, that everyone else won somehow. Anyway, I am back. Life is good. Everything is okay. Hopefully. So? I was gonna say hopefully not. I'm like, no, let me not say that. Anyway, we are going to go in for our last 45 minutes of Pomodoro, and I'm like debating if I want to play Fortnite on stream or not. Highly debating. If not, I will politely always stream in the Discord. That's not an issue. But for whatever reason, every time I've been streaming Fortnite, my computer freezes, and I'm just not my computer. The stream freezes, so I'm kind of like, aw. But actually, hold on. Zach, if you're still here, download Fortnite. Then we can have a third person, and then we can have like a full squad, and then we can be Fortnite demon. Same with any other cub who's interested in Fortnite, even like 5%. Anyway, let's get back into it. So, 45 minutes of smooth piano jazz and me suffering. Alright, so let's highlight some points. Your patient is a 76-year-old retired baker. She presents to your clinic with bilateral leg pain, brought on with standing and walking for less than 5 minutes. Active range of motion notes BB. What is BB? Holy fuck, what the heck is BB? And bilateral side bending secondary to pain radiating down her leg. Repetitive flexion feels good. Flexion extension increases her leg pain. Hold on. Feels good. Repetitive extension increases her leg pain. She has poor posture and weak abdominal muscles. Based on the information, what is the best diagnosis? So, this is going to be most likely related to stenosis. Because what happens is that stenosis is like stenosis, because stenosis is actually going to be like a narrowing of like the frame and of where your nerve comes out. So what happens is that she's probably having some pain, and especially the pain radiating because it's something nerve related. As for the other things, I'm not 100% sure, so let's actually read through and see what's happening. So, okay, so yeah, it was stenosis, foraminal stenosis or lateral stenosis. Lower motor neuron outside the spinal cord. So really one of the main things and the main takeaways of why we said it was stenosis is because flexion feels more comfortable. If it was extension, it would actually be like a herniated disc, which is really interesting. The patient has more comfort in lumbar forward bending. The motion of backwards lumbar extensions would create numbness down the side of the leg and the top of the foot. And then here's the same concept again, where again, herniated is extended, while stenosis, sorry, now I'm just like free run. Stenosis is going to be flexion. Forward bending helps, so that's also going to be present of disc degeneration as well. So not only will flexion help with, again, the stenosis, it's also going to help with the potential disc degeneration, which just occurs naturally as we age, which is rather unfortunate, you know? Painful extension weight-bearing activities, yep, improved with sitting and flexion. Preferred symptoms are central into the buttocks, bilateral pain. This could be something in relationship to like sciatica as well, but it kind of sucks that it is bilateral pain. So what is a common entrapment site of the deep radial nerve? So the deep radial nerve can get stuck at our supinator, definitely for sure. At our elbow for sure as well. And then deep radial nerve, there's actually a deep radial nerve, and that could get damaged if the radial head gets injured. So we can go from there. But really what we want to mainly take away is that the supinator is one of the most common, if not like #1 area where the radial nerve will get trapped in. Hi Stress, hi, welcome. No, you also have a noted emote? No! I think the noted emotes are so cute. What the heck? But welcome. I'm just not cramming, but I have a final tomorrow, so I'm just studying. Bleh. Right. So a patient presents with RA or rheumatoid arthritis, and we talked about this earlier when we saw like the hands looking like this in this direction. Which of the following would you suspect the patient would mention in their subjective history? So subjective again is not objective. So when they say stuff, they're going to be talking about what they've been feeling like personally. So RA can be defined as a chronic progressive systematic inflammation disease of connective tissue characterized by spontaneous remissions and exasperation. So it really sucks because we saw how bad. I don't know if I still have the picture of the hand on me. No, I don't, unfortunately. Let's see. Rheumatoid arthritis. So the one I had showed yesterday was like very late stage. Like this is not like, oh, if you have RA, this is what your hands are gonna look like. But this is definitely like your hands like with no interventions whatsoever. So again, this is gonna be inflammation of the joints. Again, it's chronic, so it happens for a very long time. It's progressive, so it can get worse. As you see, this is late stage, where it's again altering the joint alignment. And it's an inflammation of the joint tissue, so any of like the little like segments that we have within our body is going to be that joint. And pretty much what's going to happen is that, hey, you feel better sometimes it's gone, like you have the condition, your hands still look hacked up, but you don't really have the inflammation, you're good. And other times it just gets worse, you're like 10 out of 10 pain, unfortunately. Hi Corbin, hi, welcome. Tipanya, Corbin, hi, welcome. Alright, so RA is going to involve primary tissue inflammation rather than joint degeneration. So a lot of the degeneration we're talking about was for the disc, right? So this again is just going to be inflammation. I'm at work, but we'll let you know. Oh no! I hope work is, or will lurk? Okay, I was like, let me know what? Yeah, no problem. I hope you're having a good time at work. Don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble. Employment is important, unfortunately. So talked about inflammation. And so some of the onset that we can expect for RA is that it's going to be slow and gradual, as we saw that it can be progressive. There's going to be joint manifestations that are often preceded by systematic manifestations of like things such as fatigue, anorexia, weight loss, and non-specific aching and stiffness. So sometimes they just feel these symptoms just for the heck of it, and again, that's gonna be because they may be getting rheumatoid arthritis, which is really silly, to be honest. So what the patient would report in their subjective history, though, that's going to be something a little bit unrelated to some of the systemic manifestations that we may see. What they may come into the clinic about is, how do you say it, that they might have some joint swelling, they feel stiff, they feel tender, there's warmth and pain over their joints because again, that inflammation. We can see the pattern on multiple joints. Normally this is a condition that happens bilaterally, so that's super unfortunate, and hence it's multiple joints and symmetrical. Also, remember how we said carpal tunnel is very like prominent at night, people have more pain? Well, night and day has some weird influence on some of our health, but for RA, a lot of people complain of more health problems or more of their symptoms occurring in the morning. So what is the name of the fracture at the distal radius with dorsal displacement of the distal segment? That's going to be referred to as Colles fracture. So we have Colles fracture and we have Smith's fracture, correct? So Colles fracture is going to be, this is a hand. When you fall, when your hand is outstretched like this. For Smith's, it's when your hand is like this hand and you fall like that. So this is again Smith's, and then this is again Colles. I'll put like a little like line in between. So for Colles, again, this is going to be a fracture of the distal radius with dorsal displacement, because as you fall again down like this, what's occurring is that there's going to be a ground reaction force that's going to push you up. And because this is the dorsal side of your hand right here, and you're falling with your palm out, that's going to dislocate the bone dorsally, if that makes sense, in that same direction. So the mechanism of injury again is whoosh. So that's the falling out on outstretched arm or hand. With the wrist and extension, but the force again is gonna, like I said, travel dorsally through the distal radius. So it's like the really typical like, oh no, I'm falling. Oh no, I'm gonna try to stop myself. That's basically what it looks like. When you do any of the imaging, what happens is that there's gonna be this really common thing called a dinner fork deformity. And with the dinner fork deformity, that's just gonna be, how do you call it? Dinner fork deformity. It's a little cruel. I mean, not cruel, but like, it's a little silly to compare it to oh my goodness, how do you call it? A dinner fork. So one moment. So what's happening here is that this is Colles fracture. So again, we see the displacement dorsally as the bone, the more distal bone segment. Oh, you can't see my mouse. Heck, the one closest to the wrist is displaced dorsally as it goes backwards, and it looks like a dinner fork because you see how the dinner fork bends. Yeah, I get it, it's a little cruel. So really, Colles fracture is going to be more common in the adults who are over the age of 50 and occurs more in women than men because of, potentially their higher prevalence in osteoporosis, which again we talked about, of the bone being brittle, or the, how do you say it? Yeah, weak and brittle, so they're not able to hold the weight. So let's say again we talked about Miss Brenda, and she's standing in the kitchen, she makes a turn, she turns around, and then again that rotational force causes her the head or the neck of the femur to break. She's gonna try to catch herself with her arms out, so you know she doesn't fall straight on her face. So there's some complications we could talk about with Colles fracture. Basically just having the bone instability, we could have nerve injury, we could have a deformity or malunion when we saw with the dinner fork deformity. We could have post-traumatic arthritis, we could have soft tissue adhesions, and we talked about adhesions having that limitation in that one direction. They can have CRPS, which is I think complex regional peripheral system. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Complex. Let's write it down. Sorry. Complex. Regional. Sorry, the handwriting. Pain syndrome. That is again. That's going to be our CRPS. So that condition is actually it's really unique in a sense. So. It's chronic, complex regional pain syndrome is actually a malfunction of the nervous system. So normally this kind of occurs with chronic arm or leg pain developing after an injury, maybe a surgery, stroke, or heart attack. But really the outcome for having it doesn't really make much sense. This is a rare disease, so you don't really have to worry, but I was watching like a documentary in my course one time, and they were talking about where I think this girl, she's very young, she was playing soccer one time and I think she got injured, and then though the injury did fix itself and whatnot, she was still having pain, and it's like, what's happening, and what happens is that symptom actually had her develop this condition. So even though there's nothing actually inherently wrong with her, she's still feeling pain. So wow. Also with this damage to the Colles fracture, there's going to be a shortening or a lengthening of the radius. So let's talk about another thing. So after performing a neurological exam, you list the following objective findings: altered sensation at the middle finger, weakness in the triceps, which nerve root are you suspected? So that's going to be the middle finger. So remember the rainbow guy that we keep seeing? And you know, it's all these like fun it's all these like fun colors that they're doing, like da 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 da. And we talked about how like each spinal nerve basically innervates a certain section. So for our middle finger, it's him. It's a rainbow guy, but only in pink because I don't want to go through all the colors. You know, is it really good? It's Rainbow Guy 1029. Oh my gosh, Rainbow Six Siege mascot. Hold on, Dermatone Halloween costume. There was a guy that's a really oh goodness gracious. Let me find a more friendly one. Yeah, this is the one that I've seen all around. So there's a very popular Halloween costume. Huh? Hold on. It's not popping up in my downloads. Why? Why does it hate me? Oh, it can't. Oh, I see. Never mind. Hold. It looks like the Michelin guy. No, don't say that. No, Michelin guy is cute, so it's fine. But there's this guy. Oh gosh, that looks horrifying. I'm so sorry if I jump scared you with this guy. But basically, think a rainbow guy like this, right? This is a Halloween costume, by the way. You could just paint yourself different segments of the dermatones. All the anatomy nerds would appreciate it, I guess. This is the obviously one of the worst ones that I see. There's definitely more interesting ones, but the issue is just they include their genitalia, which they're not wrong, but I just don't want to show that on stream, preferably. Anyway, so rainbow guy, right? So we talked about each like spinal root innervating a certain section. Well, C7 is just where it ends up being for the middle finger. And I wish I could talk about it a little bit more without finding a drawing with a... I don't know why it's always like male genitalia. I just... Give me no genitalia. Hold on. That's whatever. Anyway, that's the whole purpose and the whole reasoning why it's C7, by the way. For C7, then we have to think of mild tones because this is not as like, how do you call it? Not as easy to remember as the dermatones, because the dermatones you can kind of follow the line and be like, oh, okay, well here's C5, and then okay, here's C6, and then C7's there. Like I would show you an image if I can find a decent one, but I'm not able to in this like short time span. But pretty much you just need to memorize the mild tones, which is something I'll do later. But just know that the tricep and wrist flexors are going to be at C7. But you can definitely tell there's something wrong with C7 just based off his dermatome alone. So at least if you know one, you'll know the other. And the reflex that will get affected is this tricep reflex, which I'm not as familiar with, so I'm just gonna politely ignore it. And maybe we'll star it. Maybe we'll start it for tomorrow me. Good luck tomorrow me. Anyway, let's talk about more scenarios. A high school student presents to your clinic with complaints of bilateral shoulder pain. The patient states that they have always been flexible and been feeling at times that feels at times that their shoulder and other joints move too much. So, the increased mobility has been occurring in most of the patient's life and is nothing new. However, the patient recently started swimming and noted shoulder pain. Based on this information, what are you suspecting? So, this person said they think it's this, which is a still very interesting abbreviation to me. AMBRII. Atraumatic multi-directional bilateral rehab inferior interval. So let's read this whole little segment here, shall we? Okay. This person is the one who is born loose. There's no trauma, hence the word atraumatical, that causes the instability. The instability is multi-directional, so there's a laxity present in all directions. Oh my goodness, you know when we're talking about restrictions and all that? Yeah, laxity was the word I'm trying to think about. Oh. So yeah. So they're born loose, sure, and there's a laxity in all directions. So they're having extreme mobility, whether you push their shoulder and whether they push their own shoulder actively in the anterior or the front, back, or down. So since this is a problem from birth, basically, the laxity is going to be present bilaterally. this patient will do well with rehab, so that would be really beneficial for them. But for whatever reason, sometimes conservative treatments such as going to therapy may not be beneficial, which is why doing surgery, so they're recommending inferior interval shift surgery, may be more beneficial for them and to help them tighten up the anterior inferior aspect of the joint capsule and the ligaments to like ensure that, hey, the joint is moving, they're still able to move, but they don't have this hypermobility. Because remember, being super flexible and having your joints move in all these crazy directions sounds cool on paper, but it's the idea that you're making yourself more unstable and you're going to lead yourself more to potential injuries. So treatment apparently depends on the mechanism of injury. We'll most likely be seeing the patient after surgery, and we'll talk more about this in lesson 5, which I don't know whose thing this is. If it's a problem from birth, instability will focus on dynamic stabilization, which will include strengthening of the rotator cuff muscles and hello? Hello? Oh, my timer. No, don't worry about it. Mom, thank you so very much. Thank you for the tier 1 sub for 3 hecky months. I appreciate your continued support as the sugar bear. Hi, and welcome. I hope everything's been super well. Don't mind me studying. Sorry, my timer's active, but I have to keep the tab up. It's kind of stinky. It'll never be Fortnite time. I'm so sorry. I promise. It's gonna be Fortnite time. I promise. Anyway, let's go over this case. This looks interesting. So your patient is 49 years old and they're an airplane mechanic. She currently works full-time with a 4 out of 10 right shoulder pain through the entire day. Her current complaint is pain and clicking on the right shoulder that has been present on and off for the past 2 years. Diane can't recall a specific mechanism of injury, so there's no certain oh, did you fall, did you do this? Her goal in seeing you is to be able to work on airplanes without experiencing shoulder pain. So as we do instructions, or as we do examinations basically, what we can see here is that our abnormal, my poor pen, hold on, oh my goodness. So for abnormal, we're going to see that there's a forward head posture and shoulder posture. So instead of like this, she's basically sitting home sitting. So instead of like this, when we're looking at you from the side, right? We're probably going to have like this, which is dramatic, but that's basically what it is. Forward head posture and shoulder posture. The shoulders are also coming forward as well. Anyway. Sorry, not that they bulked up. I don't know why I made them so big. Palpation for condition. Basically what happens is that we're checking, is there any abnormalities or a bone that's not supposed to be there? What's happening? So then we can check their active range of motion, and passive range of motion. So anything active is here. Anything active is here in this orange. And then oh my goodness. And then this is passive range of motion. Passive range of motion. Okay. Diane's problem is working too hard. That's my answer. I know. An airplane mechanic too? Holy heck. So it's normal to see that the passive range of motion is, what do you call it? Is how do you say it? Is more than the active range of motion. So that's fine to see if you sometimes see the blue numbers more. But let's compare left and right. So as you see, this is 106 and this is 174. What's happening, Diane? What's happening? I think regular abduction, or I think the norm is 180 degrees. So she's pretty much normal on her left, or close to normal, but her right is really tight. And so this is due to tight capsular pain. And again, flexion should also be, I believe, at 180, extension is 60, and then rotation for both I thought was 90, but maybe it's 65. Huh. Either way, her right side is definitely not as good. So let's go ahead and read the rest of this, okay? Passive accessory mobility. right glenohumeral joint. So she definitely has an AP hypermobile with a tight capsule and field and pain. So when we're pushing AP, it's again from the anterior side pushing towards posterior, and she's also having hypomobility when we're pushing from the back going towards the front, and that's having a tight capsule and field and pain. She has when we try to glide her inferiorly or push down on her shoulder, she's also really not moving because again there's just a lot of tight capsule and field, and she's just having pain with a lot of this. So when we do an MSTT, again we're doing muscle selective tension testing, so that's going to be testing to see if she has maybe like tendonitis, tendinosis, or even maybe like potentially a tear. She can have a partial tear or a complete tear. So let's see, if she's strong, she's able to hold against it, but it's painful for the external rotation and the abduction, then she potentially has tendinosis, or she might have tendonitis, which remember, this is the degeneration, and then this is inflammation. Sorry. So what happens is that if she's having pain and we're just pushing her with one finger, we're not going to do an MMT. We're not going to try to break her with our like full strength and whatnot. When we do an MLT and try to assess like the length and like, hey, is this tight, is this not tight, we notice there's definitely a tightness in the pec major, and we talked about the pec major helping with flexion, extension, I think internal rotation? No, I don't think internal rotation. I think it helps with adduction. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what the pec major does on the top of my head. I'm so sorry. Definitely these two, and then it just depends on like the clavicular head, clavicular and sternal head, which is something I can look at a little bit later. She has a positive empty cans test, which I think this is the test where pretty much you bring your hand and it's like you have a can arm, and basically this is an imaginary can, and then you dump out the can. So how do you draw thumbs down? Hold on. Arm. Thumbs down position. And if she has pain with that, I don't actually remember what that means, but empty can is just like a very special test. Empty can test. Hi Sword, hi. I don't know if you got them. If I scanned, is it getting? Anyway, hi. Hope you've been doing super well. Or well. Let's see. So empty can test, also known as Drope's test. So we can say, let me show you this picture right here. Okay, one moment. So yeah, basically, ta-da! You bring the patient's hands, their thumbs are up, then you bring them down. And from here, you're pretty much going to check to see if there's weakness or insufficiency of the supraspinatus muscle, which is one of your rotator cuff muscles. So that's going to be, how do you say it? One of your external rotator muscles, the muscles that you have in the shoulder, or again, most commonly known, the rotator cuff. Right? So that means that they have, let's see, empty can test again is going to be indicator of weak supraspinatus. Alright? And so we could do a palpation for tenderness. Oh, one moment. I had to sneeze, oh my goodness. My mic is so close to me too, so I'm like, no. Alright. For palpation for tenderness, when we palpated for structure, we didn't see anything. But we're noticing that there is a significant tenderness over the right greater tuberosity of the humerus with the palpation. So basically this is just further confirming about the weak supraspinatus. Again, there's no tear of the supraspinatus, but still. Tyros, hi. Thank you so very much for the follow. Welcome to the Cup Club. Welcome. I'm sorry, you caught me during like a study stream. I apologize to anyone who caught me during a study stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everything's been super good with ya. I would wave back at you, but my hands are glued to the laptop. Boo, boo. Anyway, oh, my timer, hold on. Alright, so now that we have a vague idea of what may be the cause for Miss Brenda, what can we do? How can we find the tissue reactivity and at what steps? So, we can identify some of the TSIs, and there's multiple like things that can potentially be wrong where. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. You too, okay? Enjoy the rest of your day and night, okay? Nah, my major is adjacent at best to yours, but it's still great to listen to. Oh no. I'm glad. I feel like today's study stream, obviously other than me just feeling a little bit like more burnt out because it is like the last exam, I just feel so bad. I wish I was more knowledgeable, you know? But I'm glad that you what do you call it? Can enjoy me talking about my notes, even though I feel like I'm like bumbling today. I'm like, so for Miss Brenda, remember we can basically make a list and start addressing from there, and basically do like a little checklist of being like, okay, we address this, we address this, we address this, we address that. So TSIs again are going to be tissue specific impairments, so we're getting as specific as we can of how to address this person's situation. We definitely know it's related to the right shoulder, so we talked about the right shoulder hypomobility. Hypomobility again, it's a decrease in mobility in both AP and PA, and it's pretty moderate in accordance to what do you call it, whoever was doing the evaluation. You're doing great, don't worry. Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. Cries. But yeah. So we just talked about all about this hypermobility. We could talk about the tendinitis that we saw when she was doing the MSTT, so we're doing the muscle selective tension testing. Decreased length in pec major was present when we were doing the MLT. Supraspinatus tendinosis can also be a possibility because remember, even though we had identified during the MSTT that it was a strong and painful result, the issue is just we don't know if it's inflammation of the tendon or maybe the tendon's just flat out degenerating, so we have to be super careful with that. And something else we didn't really talk about, but the chances of it is that maybe she has bursitis. Maybe there's something wrong with the bursa, and that's why she's having these weird symptoms. Also, but it's relatively low. Like it's not likely gonna be there. The tissue activity is how do you call it? It's low in a sense that this most likely will not be the case, but in case it is, then that's something we can consider or even potentially treat. Our last TSI is going to be the adhesive capsulitis of the right glenoid humeral joint. Excuse me. Adhesive capsulitis can be a potential thing because we're noticing a decrease in the capsular pattern we were talking about, the external rotation, abduction, and internal rotation. Whoever wrote this are good. It looked like there's like classmates who are like, well, why did you do this? Why did you do that? But it's very, very good. Sorry. Oh, interesting. So the person is saying in the other students' notes is that, hey, this is pretty chronic, so they're going to associate it with tendinosis. Inflammation kind of comes and goes, you know? But this most likely is a degeneration. So that's really interesting to see. What is going to be your functional goal for today's treatment and why? So by the end of today's session, really whatever you want to do as a functional goal, you want to make it smart. Let me get that mnemonic out because my brain is like, what does START stand for again? I'm so dumb. Hold on. Alright, so SMART is gonna be for specific. M is gonna be for measurable. A is gonna be attainable, because really, as much as you want people to get to their best condition and want them at 100%, you're not always gonna have that. Getting them to at least being functional is really neat. Really, the idea of it is that basically you don't want to do the impossible. Or you don't want them to be like, oh yeah, they hurt their leg, yeah, I want them to run a marathon by the end of today. Like, hello? That's where the realistic aspect comes in. And then time bound. Time bound is really specific, because what happens is that we always want to give like a deadline to these goals. Why? Because how do I even explain it? Basically, think of like New Year's resolutions, you know? Oh, sometime this year, I'm gonna make sure I drink more water, you know? And then, you know, I'll compare myself from last year to this year and be like, hey, did I drink more water? And then you can go from there. So for this person, for Miss Brenda, we could basically say so let's use a SMART goal and like identify. So by the end of today's session, so that's our time, patient will be able to increase range of motion of the shoulder in all directions by 5 degrees. So this is specific. The 5 degrees makes it measurable. Without pain, in order to work towards the goal of working pain-free again. So this can be attainable in a sense that, hey, that sounds pretty realistic. If she puts the time into this, then, hey, hopefully with this conservative treatment, she is going to feel better. And guess what? It's realistic. She should be honest with herself and be like, hey, if this hurts, then this hurts. But our goal today is that, hey, you're able to make these small, like, improvements to your range of motion without pain. So we can talk about different ways of treating the patient. So we can talk about, we could talk about palliative care, preparatory care, corrective care, or supportive care. So palliative basically means to ease. So palliative, we can actually just ice her shoulder, the right glenohumeral joint, for about 10 minutes. And as you're familiar with, like, anytime you have inflammation, you always want to like use, well, it depends on the inflammation, but you always want to use ice to help like reduce the pain and inflammation. That's why, like, anytime maybe you hurt your knee, your elbow, your shoulder, you put ice pack and then you feel a little bit better. Heat pack also works, but it depends on the condition. I like ice for pain. I like heat for like stretching a muscle if there's like tightness or anything like that. Preparatory, we can perform some glides, and we will perform it at the grades of 1 and 2. Remember, we talked about 1 and 2 helping with pain, and that's what this patient is feeling. They're feeling a lot of pain, so we definitely want to do oscillation grades of 1 and 2. It wouldn't be bad to do 3 and 4, because we talked about 3 and 4 increasing some of the range of motion, and as we saw in that graph, even if you don't know the norms of like certain motions of like shoulder extension, flexion, etc., you saw from comparing left and right that her right was very like hypomobile. But we do want to address the pain, because once we address the pain, then we can address the mobility. There's no point in getting them to the range of motion and they're still having pain. Like, they're gonna be hesitant, you know, they're gonna not want to do that. So yes, so that's why we're doing oscillation grades 1 to 2. So corrective, so basically we can have her do like a home exercise program, or when we have her in a session, like, hey, let's do some banded flexion, like let's use a resistance band and have you work against this and work on some flexion, extension, abduction, external rotation, internal rotation, and we can work on strengthening. So we're gonna do about 3 sets of 12. Dosing and whatnot is a concept from another course, so we also want to do some oscillations, and we can do that grade 3 to 4 as well, because really what we want to do from here is that we do want to increase her range of motion, but the other one we want to help make sure that, hey, we're not having any pain with that. And for supportive, we can always say patient education is super important. Knowledge is power. And basically she'll have like a really good idea of what to do when she has to do certain activities. Like, hey, if this is hurting you, maybe you don't want to do this. Hey, we recommend doing this, da 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 da. And basically just ensuring that the exercise that she may be doing in her sessions, she's also doing at home, in addition to maybe some potential stretching and whatnot. So yeah. So we could talk about this other thing. So We have about 6 minutes, so that's actually really exciting. So let's actually briefly go through this. This is really new to me. It looks more like an outline of things we need to know, so I'll just kind of read it out and hope for the best. So we need to know that there's going to be upper and lower extremity case studies. So a lot of what we just did a few minutes ago, or maybe within this last Pomodoro session, we need to identify several STIs. So there's our tissue-specific impairments. Oh no, hi! Welcome! Thank you for the tier 1 sub for 4. Oh, hecky moms! 4 months of Tipa cute. Panic. But thank you. I appreciate it. I've been doing super well. I'm almost done. I'm almost done with my study session, my study stream. I'm almost free like a bird. I'm rebranding to a bird, no longer a bearcat. No, but right now I'm just reading some of the stuff that I have to learn for this potential exam, so please bear with me. So, we need to identify several tissue-specific impairments. So those are like the really specific ones that we're reading, like even up here with the right shoulder hypomobility, possibly the tendonitis, the tendinosis. Just having several is just really good to identify, because remember, it's not like a one and done procedure. You can't just say, oh, it's definitely the tendonitis, and that is what it is. It could be more than that. It's important to address multiple things, you know? So for example, we could address capsular tightness, decreased muscle length, weakness in the specific muscle, again tendonitis acute, or tendinopathy, which can be chronic, a fusion of a particular joint that's causing the hypermobility because of effusion, and etc. The TSI, the tissue also identifying the tissue reactivity. Each one can be different. A tensile force or stretch to the tissue is needed to determine the tissue reactivity, except in the case of bursitis, where you would use palpation for tenderness. Superficial is high TR, medium or moderate pressure is moderate TR, and deep palpation for tenderness is low TR. Bam. Very soon. I know, so soon, TM. Huh? A fusion of a joint. It's like leaking? Oh, fusion is just relating to like the swelling of a joint, so... Oh no! Did I break stream? Oh no, I didn't. Wait, what? Huh? The timer doesn't want to exist anymore. Huh? The timer won't go up! Big chilling. I can't show you an image. I'm so sorry. My thing keeps scrolling. Well, when we hear the bell, we'll hear the bell. But I'll take off the timer, I guess. But yeah, it's just a swelling in one in the joint. Timer could no. Oh, it stopped acting up. It's fine now. Huh? Huh? Oh. Wait, is my scroll wheel stuck or something? Oh no, big panic. Big panic. I'm stuck in scroll hack. No! Why is that happening? Hold on. I forgot, I have a wireless mouse now. I'm cursed. But basically, I'm gonna turn it off and turn it back on. Wasn't scroll acting up earlier during the Overwatch rooms? It was, but then I got a new mouse. But it doesn't, even with it on and off, that's so... Hold on. No, it's stuck, it's stuck in scrolling, why? I'm like, oh, might also need to unplug and replug the dongle? Maybe. Oh my goodness, big panic. I'm in infinite scroll mode in Twitter. Is the middle click not working? Like, you mean to like put it like up or down? No, the middle click isn't working. No, how am I gonna have tech problems at the end? Oh, this hacking sucks. Oh wait. Wait. Cubs, I fixed it. You wanna know how I fixed it? Promise you won't get mad at me though. Promise you won't get mad. When I move my tablet up, it. Press down on the down arrow key. Ah. So I was panicking because I didn't see it. I was really confused. I was like, damn, I got this mouse. Time to end stream? It's time to end stream. No, my timer didn't go off. But I was panicking, okay? Keyboard awareness, honestly. I'm a tech guy, I've heard worse. I feel honestly so bad. Because anytime I have like a weird tech issue that like is like off stream, sometimes on stream, I'll ask one of my roommates because they're techie, and I'm just like, listen, I'm not incompetent with the computer, but I have no idea what the heck is happening right now, and I actually need your help. And you know what's the worst part? Sometimes I just need him to hover over me while I do the thing, and I'd be like, hey, look, see, this was the issue, and then it magically fixes itself. And I'm just like, bro, I can be an IT person at this point. Me just magically showing up just like magically solves the issue. Amazing. It's even worse when you have a wireless keyboard that you forget about and then sit on it. Yeah, no, like, that's so spooky. Yeah, keyboard awareness, not me. Alright, let's see if I can speedrun this. Alright, know about subject reactivity. Don't assume things. Stage or condition. Remember, it's more than just a time frame. You also need to use the population for condition. We need to know if it's getting better, worse, or the same. Functional goal, we talked about smart. Range of motion or strength gains are not enough. Say why you need it. Just squat down, just tie the shoes, cross your legs. Treatment categories, we definitely need to know those. Yeah, that's it. Because the rest is going to go into this, and then it's all this, and then look, listen, I'll just read this and be miserable tomorrow, okay? Oh no, for whatever reason, none of that captured over. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I still have like... Cubs, I know I said I wanted to get halfway. I unfortunately was able to get to... Sorry, I don't mean to keep lying to you. I feel like I'm flashbanging my own stuff looking at this bright screen. I only got to page 9 out of 33. So, today at work, I did a lot of work that is basically for tomorrow, minus whatever work I get tomorrow. And my manager is like, Tipa, you're not gonna have any work tomorrow if you do this. And I'm like, yes, exactly. She just looked at me. I wanna get paid for studying. My manager, again, is a super, super nice lady. As much as sometimes I don't appreciate what she does sometimes, like sneeze into her hands. At least she hand sanitizes afterwards. Yeah. Anyway, not the point. Point is she lets me study when it gets slow. And so if there's nothing to do, and I don't want to clock out because your girl needs money, I will just sit there and study. So yeah. Does what? Oh, not my hand. Her hand. She sneezes like directly into her hand, which I thought people don't do that anymore. Sorry. I sneeze like a vampire. But sometimes she'll like scratch her. She likes to scratch or pick her nose a lot. But that's another thing. I am not judging her for that. Look, she can pick and scratch her nose all she wants. As long as she lets me study, I don't care. She's a pharmacist, by the way. Apple sneezing into the bus, really? You're drawing your boss under the bus so hard? She's really nice though. Dab sneezing to assert dominance, honestly. Huh? But anyway, let's get this out of here. Hold on. I want to stop blinding myself from the airstream. And then the timer is done, so we can hide that one as well. Timer. There you go. Yeah, no, but seriously, still super nice lady. But anyway, let us do this. So, so to address your questions, this is actually most likely going to be my last study stream of the year. My semester technically ends tomorrow once I'm done with that final exam. That is, excuse me, either at oh my goodness, excuse me. Either at like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I have to double check. My professor is kind of wonky. Normally they're at 7 p.m. but gosh darn it. Heck forbid. Like, you know, we have it at 7. So It is what it is, honestly. So after that, I am free. So there's gonna be no more study streams for the rest of the year. I'll come back next year stronger and being like, oh, this. Honestly, I'm really excited for my fourth term because I heard that it's very laid back, but it's less anatomy. So maybe we'll still do like anatomy study streams if you don't mind. I think that would be really nice to do. At least like really basic things like, hey, what does this muscle do, you know? Very, very baby things. But yeah, with that, let us go see if we can find someone to wait. Da, da, da. We still have that professor though? Yes, in 6th term. So that would be interesting. A lot of people who are taking him now are like, yeah, we hate him teaching this class. Because we like it's really wonky basically what I'm gonna say, but there was just like this really nice professor. She was gone because she was pregnant and now she's back. She has a baby. She's so sweet. She is so loving and motherly, and I'm not trying to like say anything, but she's just super nice and she's always there to help. This guy's like the total opposite. This is like my dad. No, I'm just kidding. Not there for me. Doesn't answer my messages. No, I'm just kidding. But she taught like the first part of that class, but for whatever reason she doesn't teach the second class. But he teaches that second class, so we're trying to see if we could get her to teach that second portion of the class, if that makes sense. Like if it's like anatomy 1 and anatomy 2 and she taught anatomy 1 and somehow he taught 2, why wouldn't you have the continuity of just learning the same anatomy or the same content from the same professor? Too real? Sorry. Go Mena, sorry. Alright, go Mena, sorry. Anyway, there's a lot of people streaming today. So many people. Oh, there's someone doing Christmas karaoke. That's cute. Should I do Christmas karaoke? Do I do a baby Christmas karaoke in addition to actual karaoke? The world may never know what I'll do. Let's see. Not the karaoke challenge, no! Alright. Thank you though, Robo. Thank you. I'm really curious too. There's like a lot of people streaming. Hampon just went live? I'm too shy. Plus, I do want to raid into a new. I actually have several new people actually streaming right now. Oh my goodness, this person looks so cute. What the heck? I don't remember following them. No, that's not like an insult, you know. But I'm just like, oh. And the person who's doing Christmas karaoke says 1 hour Christmas karaoke. She's actually ending, so actually never mind. Oh my goodness, this person is so cute, and oh my goodness, I like their like layout. I like their hair. I like their scarf or scarf buddies, and they're playing the Binding of Isaac. Isaac? Yes. I'm not as familiar with the game, so definitely let's go see if we can check them out. They've been streaming for 2 hours, and it looks like they're on a select screen. So you know what? We're just gonna go raid. Anyway, Rika, lots of love to you. Wish me good luck on the finals. I am going to be doing my last final tomorrow again at that 7 or 8. I am going to be playing some Fortnite in my Discord, so you're more than welcome to join. We also do anime nights on Tuesdays and whatnot. Please feel free to check out my Twitter. Normally I have a pinned up schedule there. Unfortunately, I do not have a pinned up schedule right now because this week was a little bit wonky. I didn't really know when I was going to stream, and I may still stream a little bit later in the week. I might stream Friday or even after Thursday as like a little celebration, but goodness knows, you know. If not, you'll definitely catch me Monday for sure, okay? Thank you for good luck. I appreciate it. Thank you. Gamate ne. Gabarimasu. Rebel says thanks for the stream tip. Have a good one and good luck with the finals. Thank you. Watch the kill so for the good luck. I appreciate you. With the strong, stern type of study. I'm so smart. Send you all your brain. My brain. I can't read anymore. I need those brain cells. Thank you, Sunny. Though. Thank you. And hey, you got this. I believe in you. Thank you. I just need to pass the quiz. Ah! Anyway, let's go copy and paste those raid messages that SG was so grateful for posting. So we have the Gal raid with the Tipa Gal, and then Gao raid. So let's go ahead and raid into them. Hopefully before the end stream. Lots of love to you. Thank you, Erica. If I don't get to see you later, or you don't want to hang out on the Fortnite, that's perfectly fine because it's Fortnite. Love you, City in the Discord. All right. Thank you so very much. Let's go raid this person. See you Monday. Have a good weekend. Oh wait, they're still playing the game. Okay, I don't have to rush. I don't have to rush. I will politely inhale air. You can have what luck I have. Thank you. I have negative luck, so any luck is good. Anyway, again, with a much calmer voice, lots of love. See you later, Cubs. Have a good weekend if I do or don't see you, okay? Bye, 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 bye.